Your hair looks good
It's just
on the camera. No, but it's looking like, oh man, you got it cleaned up. You got like the beard trimmed.
Yes. It was about time. It was too damn hot the last couple weeks.
Well, that's why I buzzed mine.
I know, and you were looking.
It was looking
real fresh.
It was looking really clean. Like I think episode 1. Episode 1 we recorded, I had like a nice fade on the sides.
Yeah.
And it looked all clean on the top. Yeah. Now it's like getting a bit long on the top.
But that's what happens when you buzz. You get that awkward comeback.
You know, I never thought about it growing back. Never thought I had that far.
Never thought, but that was episode 1, and here we are, I think episode 4.
4, yeah. Wow.
So, congratulations.
You as well.
Thank
Congratulations.
You. Thank you very
this
much.
is fantastic. What good news.
Yep. We're back after a week off. Took a week off. I was on vacation out of town, so...
Hawaii?
No recording. No.
Not quite?
No, not as... I went south.
Oh, went south? Oh.
South Ontario.
Oh, Southern Ontario.
Down by the Windsor, Ontario area.
Oh, cool.
Yes. It was always a good time down in Windsor.
Yeah, what happened while you were down there?
My parents lived there.
Yeah?
So I went to see my parents, took a week off, no work, just kind of refreshed, played a couple rounds of golf.
Absolutely.
Saw the family, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, the whole 9. So it was a good recharge week. Really needed it. It was like a long couple of weeks before then at work, and then jumped right back into it. Came back Saturday just in time for events Saturday night and Sunday, so that was very nice.
Yeah, so. I wasn't sure when you were going to come back this weekend. Excuse me.
Oh, jeez.
Pardon me. I didn't realize when you'd be coming back this weekend, because I watched quali from F1, which I guess we'll talk about first here.
Yep.
I watched quali Saturday morning before work, and we were talking about it in our F1 group chat we got with a couple buddies, and you were commenting in there, and I was thinking, oh, yeah, I wonder if Ian's going to be back before the race, and there you were later that day.
Yeah, so I was watching quali in the car, like on the way.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah, my sister was driving, so I was streaming it. That's why you pay the big bucks for a lot of data.
So, I guess if you're going to use it, you may as well pay for the data.
That's right. So I was able to stream all 3 Qs, which was nice. Lots of excitement, obviously. Max had some problems in the middle of quali there, which was super interesting to finally see. Yes, to finally see some reliability issues out of the Red Bulls.
Wow, finally, again, to see it make a resurgence.
That's true, because it went away for a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, they were getting lucky there. I mean, Checo's had some issues all season, but Max, I guess maybe not all season, but he's been getting some issues recently, and not the best way for your last quali before break to end up in 11th. But it's weird seeing both the Red Bulls at 10 and 11. It's not something you usually see.
No, it's not something you usually see, but it is nice. Like, I appreciate... That's why, like, when we talk about sprint races and there's an interesting quality sprint races running, because I enjoy seeing a mixed-up grid every now and then. Yeah. You know, like, even if there's a Ferrari a couple positions back, or something like that, or a Mercedes a couple positions back, like they do every now and then, it's nice to see some of the other guys, less experienced guys at the top of the grid. But, so Red Bull had some problems.
But speaking of less experienced guys at the top of the grid...
Well, that's what I was just jumping into.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. So, you continue.
So, Carlos was outpacing Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, he was.
The whole quali, actually. He kind of had his number. But that's good. Like, only by a couple hundredths of a second, which is a lot in F1, I guess. And they looked really good until the last lap. And even then, because the time would run out, so they're waiting for everybody who crossed the line to finish their laps. And it looked like Carlos Sainz was going to be on pole.
1-2. We're going to get a Ferrari 1-2.
It looked like that's what we were going to get.
Front
and then
row.
Out of nowhere, there goes George Russell. And he fucking destroyed Carlos Sainz in that quali, and he ends up putting himself on pole.
Mr. Saturday.
I guess.
That's pretty cool. Well, I thought...
Can you call yourself with only a couple years...
Well, but he's always been good on these like quali days, especially back in even in his Williams days. But it was shaping out to be a Ferrari 1-2 weekend.
Yeah.
After seeing that, I was like, okay, George at the top of the grid, but it's not like he's gonna hang on to that for the whole race, especially with all these with the Ferraris behind him. So a lot of people were thinking, including I think everyone in our predictions pool. Thought that it was going to be a Ferrari 1-2.
I mean, yeah, how could you not? You got Red Bull sitting back there in 10 and 12, I think it was. 10 and 13?
10 and 11.
10 and 11? Okay, so 10 and 11. So you have to just imagine that the strategy for Ferrari is going to be faster, and they're going to be on better wheels better tires and whatnot. So you kind of had to predict that. And no, I wouldn't have predicted Russell staying in front just based on pace. No. So, that was that. And Lando was in the top 5 as well as quali, which I'm always happy to see a good performance by Lando.
Love me some Lando.
And then Alpine 5 and 6, always fun to see because they've been very consistent in this later half. I don't even know how to say it, like second quarter.
Yeah.
Of the season, second
around
quarter.
the mid part of the season.
They've been super consistent, very fast, making good decisions, smart strategies.
Well, we got more to talk about them later.
Yes, we do. So why don't we get into race day?
Yeah, really good race. Like very entertaining. I was locked on the screen the whole time. Mm-hmm. Well, come on. Do we get to the obvious?
Well, okay, here's the thing. So the race starts and Max flies at the takeoff. So I just wanted to get that out of the way
from 10th.
From 10th. I think he jumped to 7th or something like that after the first couple turns, and I was like, wow, that's quick. And that's a hard track to pass on. Not a lot of overtaking on that track. So that was interesting to see. And then Perez obviously made some good moves going up to it. And we can get to the obvious now. I just wanted to set the mood.
I know. It's like George held on to the lead at the start there for a bit.
I think like 20-something laps.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah. The races are so early here. Like, it's just kind of a blur. Like, I'm drinking my coffee and like there they go.
It's like 8 a.m.
Okay. Yeah. And like right before the race, I'm trying to figure out what my picks are gonna be. I'm like half dead trying to figure it out. But I think George led for a while there, but then the Ferrari's making up time, and basically it ended up with Charles with a pretty safe lead going on in the race. Little bit of rain coming down, nothing too crazy.
No, enough to make everybody think about it.
Maybe think a little too hard because they threw the game.
Yeah,
Ferrari threw the game.
This was interesting. So Sainz was in front, and they didn't want to do a regular switch off with Carlo and Chow, which is fine. So they put Carlo in the pits first, put him on new tires, get him out there first. Chow takes the lead by a little bit, and then they do Shell's pit first. But in the Carlo pit, it looked like they called a fake pit stop. Like, I don't know if you heard anything about that, but it kind of looked like that was a little bit of a decoy for Russell, because they called box and they didn't, and then Russell went right behind him.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a little bit of a trick off for them. And then Carlo pitted the next lap. A lap continues. Then Shell took another lap after that, and he took a pit. And man, I think it was a collective jaw-dropping moment for the F1 community when the white tires came out.
I specifically remember you were like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Why are they putting them on hards? What is happening?
Yeah, because he went...
You stood up.
I did. I got off... He pulled into the pit, and the tire comes out, and you see the tire man throw up the tire, bring it over, and you see that white band. Yeah. And I stood up off that couch pretty quickly.
Wrong one, man.
And I'm like, what? But they had already burned their 2 mediums.
I know.
So that's fine. But you have to commit at that point, because the Alpines went to hards.
And it did not work.
No, they slipped 3 positions.
Mm-hmm.
So you already see that. It's cold, it's raining, and they're a hard tire, so you want to get that tire warm. Everybody was having troubles keeping their tires warm on that track, which was obvious. Mercedes was having problems. I don't know if Red Bulls were having problems doing that, but I'm going to assume they did, because it was just a cooler day, I should say, with some water. And man, they put him on hards, and he was losing time every lap. There was not a single lap that he was making up time.
And they asked him, how are the mediums? And he said, good. He said the mediums were good.
Because they were worried that the mediums were coming to the end of life.
Yeah.
He said they were fine, and their whole strategy was, we'll put them on hards to get them to the end. If his mediums were good, you get, another 5, maybe 10 laps, and then you put them on softs, and that gets you to the end of the race. And I was really frustrated because even Christian, team principal for Red Bull, even Christian came out, and he said, the tires were doing much better than we anticipated after the race. And I'm sure he's not the only... The tires
do much better.
I'm sure he wasn't the only team that was like, the tires aren't shredding like we thought they were. We're going to leave them out there. So for them just to be like, no, we're not going to commit to that strategy. We're going to go on hards, knowing the hards aren't going to work. Well, are they blind?
Did you see Max, Lewis, and George in the cool down room when they were like, did they go on hards? Yeah, and they all laughed. They all laughed at Ferrari.
They're laughing at him.
They're laughing at Ferrari.
Ferrari.
They're laughing at the company.
But the worst, I think, and then you saw Mario Benito. Yes.
Benedito.
You saw him walk away, and it was like, where's this guy going? And I don't know where he went. I didn't read about it. I didn't listen to anything. Busy day today. I was like, I'm still curious where that guy went for those like couple laps after that.
I think I remember hearing it, but I don't remember. I don't think it was anything that crazy.
Well, I hope he went to like.
I'd hope it was something important.
No, I hope he like thought about his life, like reflected.
He just went into the woods for a walk or something.
And
called his mother.
That was just unacceptable for them to lose like that again. Carlo didn't have great pace, but again, it came down to strategy.
Yep.
And again, I'll use this term, they handed Red Bull an easy victory. I shouldn't say easy because they were still competing with Mercedes to a degree.
Well, I wouldn't say that they handed Red Bull a victory, but they handed their victory away.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying it.
Because Max had to come up from 10th, and Max, let's say, that was a fantastic drive.
Yeah, Max had a great drive coming back from the front, and their strategy was killer. Like, they just amazing.
They just are.
And it was consistent, and they had a couple problems throughout the race, and they were able to fix it without panicking, going through the race, using Max, their driver, to do the controls. Yeah. It was just, that was what team effort, I feel like, is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And it's just super frustrating. And then after the race, I think what got me more upset was, again, they stuck by their decision. And instead of saying,
annoying.
We made a mistake and it cost us the race, it's, oh, we'll do a debrief, but I think it's just pace, and it wasn't really a tire situation, and we made the right. Go away. Like, you need to start admitting that you're making team mistakes. Like Charles last week, he spun himself out in the corner, and he got mad at first, and then he did his press conference after, and he goes, "Yeah, I made a mistake. That's on me. I can't afford to be doing that. If I want to be a championship driver, that's my fault. I'll be better." Why can't the team do that? Yeah, we messed up our drivers. We did not do them good, and it cost them the race. So, at the end of the day, I think it was Charles in 5th? 6th?
Yeah.
And, Carlos in 4th.
Yep.
Yeah, Carlos in 4th, Charles in 6th. And just overall disappointment if you're a Ferrari fan.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was the 2 Mercedes on the podium with Max.
Consistent team.
Hamilton and Max have, I think, the second most 1 and 2s of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. I read that stat online today. But some great competition between the two of them. Mercedes showing out.
Yep.
George Russell never giving up. I mean, as much as you talk smack on the Duchess of Cambridge, George Russell.
The Duchess.
The Duchess.
That team is just consistent, and they don't have to be faster because, again, they wait for teams to mess up.
And they have they have a good head on themselves. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton is a great driver.
Yeah.
And they were able to get on the podium again. And I think that if we're making a prediction for the second half of the season, I think they pass Ferrari in the drivers.
I mean, if Ferrari...
Not the drivers, constructors.
Yeah, the constructors. If Ferrari keeps this pace up of just shooting themselves in the left foot at the beginning of the race, and then they shoot themselves on the right foot at the end of the race, they're not gonna have anything to hold on to.
It doesn't matter how fast your Saturday is. You gotta...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. You fix your reliability issue. If you do in the second half of the season, great. Guess what? You still need to put a strategy together.
Yeah.
You still need to do clean pit stops, which they didn't do on Carlos. They still had a little bit of a fluff on the pit stop. Charles' pit stops, I think, were okay, but they're still getting out pit stopped. I don't know what the word would be for that. Out pitted by Red Bull by almost a full second and a half or something like that. So that's not acceptable either. And if I'm making a prediction, whether this is second half of this season or next season, there's going to be a staffing change in Ferrari. Whoever their strategist is, like, you can't perform that bad at your job.
Yep, that'll be something to watch for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that they'd wait till the end of the season for anything like that, but that's something to watch. What do you think some teams need to work on for the second half of the season?
So I think what was really clear for McLaren was that they got a guy. The Lando is a guy. He's a dude, right? Like, I think that was pretty evident. Because he qualied in 5th, and he did really well, really consistent through the race, not really many mistakes, if any, and he still slipped. He couldn't He didn't have pace to pass anybody. He defended.
No, I just mean in general. Sorry.
Pretty well. Like in general?
Like for the second half of the season.
Well, I think McLaren needs an upgrade package if they think Lando can actually pull something off. I think that's number one.
Yeah.
I don't know what Haas needs to do. I don't know if it's a driving problem or an upgrade package problem, but they were extremely disappointing this last weekend.
Yeah, especially after having a couple of good weekends in a row. They got to figure out what is bringing them success and like focus on that, I guess. I mean,
that's a winning strategy right there.
That's a winning strategy. Yeah. Find what's good and keep doing it.
Yeah, so I thought that was super disappointing. I think those teams that are fighting for that 5th and 6th position just have to be more consistent. Like, they got to find what is working. Like,
do you think Aston Martin is like a 6th place car right now, or do you think they're a 9th place car?
I think they're a 9th place car.
Okay, so do I.
Just because they're not consistent. Like, consistency, I think, is going to be the storyline of this second half of the season.
Well, we'll see.
Because if Red Bull stays consistent, they can just hold on. If Ferrari can stay consistent, they can have a faster car, and they can make headway.
They can do something, yeah.
If Mercedes stays consistent and the other people don't, they'll just keep sweeping up points like they have been. And I think it's that for everybody. And then just these mid-pack teams, their cars just, they got good drivers to a point.
Alpine has got to get on the podium second half of the season. They have to.
Yeah. Well, I think so.
We can't just have 3 teams and Lando on the podium the whole season. Come on.
I mean,
we can't just have
Mercedes won 8 years in a row, 7 years in a row.
This is coming from a new F1 fan, so maybe I don't know. Maybe we can have that. We can have less. Who knows?
So I think that's an interesting segue, though.
Yep.
Alpine to the breaking news.
Oh man, breaking news
that we got.
Well, how did this start? Sebastian Vettel retires.
Vettel retires mid last week.
4-time world champ with Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian Vettel, great personality, great dude. He retires.
He retired because he's driving for Aston Martin, and he couldn't go anywhere, I think.
Yeah, we would think that maybe if he was on a faster, more competitive car, he might have stayed in the sport for a bit longer.
Yeah.
He's not that old. I mean, he's not as old as Alonso,
that is
who
true.
we'll be talking about.
But when you got 4 titles.
But exactly. So he leaves. That means that there's going to be a spot opening up next year on Aston Martin's team.
Yep.
You know, some discussion comes out, you know, who's going to be filling in that spot. And I think it's 5 days later, maybe 6 days later, and we get the announcement from 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso that he's going to be going to Aston Martin, moving down the order.
That doesn't make to me, that doesn't make sense.
He has said multiple times that he wants to be in a car, be in F1, so he can compete to win races. My brother in Christ, you have gone to Aston Martin.
When you, like we just talked about, Alpine's that 5 and 6 team. Those the cars.
Alpine,
they're the cars. They're fighting. They're in it. They're driving well.
I will say that for Alpine, even though Esteban Ocon, who I'm a big fan of Esteban, he has maybe been the more consistent driver, yes, and definitely has more points than Alonso, but Alonso's had the more impressive performances in that car. So it's kind of weird that he's getting these bursts of success where he could, if the cars maybe built better to his like, I don't know, like skill set, if it's more tailor-made for him, maybe he'll be finding even more success next season with Alpine, because he's getting things like he was front of the grid in Canada.
Yep.
He had a great quali in Australia. And if he's in, if Alonso's in a Ferrari, he's driving fast.
Like, he's going
there's
fast.
No question.
Yeah. Well,
so this Alpine, I don't think is that far off, but Daniel Ricciardo left when they were Renault after 1-2 seasons. It's like
2 seasons, yeah.
Well, there might be something going on over there that.
So that's what I was wondering, is if he just didn't like something that was going on, like if he just wanted to leave.
Maybe he didn't like racing against Esteban, because he was not letting him through like last race. That's for sure. They were arguing
teams like that. Like look at how many times we've talked about Ferrari. They had to clear 1-2.
No, they did not.
And I say had, past tense. And we look at other teams, and other teams had good 1-2s, and I don't know. I feel like Alpine was just always kind of in it, and I find it very odd that he just picks up and leaves. But then Alpine.
So now Alpine there, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. Whatever.
Tomato.
Now they've got a vacancy, and they announce. Well, I think they're a little upset. They're a little butthurt that their one of their bigger drivers there, of their two, has decided to leave them for a team that's further down in the grid, further down in the points. Mm-hmm. So they're thinking that's some bad press, right? They got to make the press better, get the buzz going for the team. And they announce that Oscar Piastri is going to be their second driver next year. It's going to be Esteban Ocon and it's going to be Oscar Piastri. They're going to be best friends. This guy won F2. He's a prodigy in the sport. He's a long time. I think he's been backup driver, reserve driver for 4 years for Alpine. Oof. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
Oscar and Esteban, the best boys. It's going to be, he's American, isn't he, Oscar?
Yeah.
American in the sport for Alpine, right? No, absolutely not.
Not a chance, because guess what?
What?
Oscar, our boy Oscar, he takes to Twitter, the ultimate news platform, and he tweets out, "I see that Alpine announced that I signed with them for 2023."
Did he not? Did he not sign with them?
That's not true.
No, it's not true.
He says, "I did not sign with them," and he's still exploring his options for 2023. And you know what? Just when you think a situation can't get worse for Alpine, it gets worse. Because now, not only do now you lose a driver, I mean, everyone's like, why would he go lower? Not really an explanation on his part why he left. And then you're like, oh, okay, no problem. We're just going to bring in this young buck and he'll be ready to go. And he goes, whoa, I don't want to. I never said I was racing with you guys.
He even specifically said in that tweet, I will not be driving for Alpine next season.
Oh, he did say that at the
bottom of the tweet? Yeah. He finished it by saying, I will not be driving for Alpine next year.
So, this is for any sport. Like, we saw this a couple times last year in the NFL with some retirements, Tom Brady coming out of retirement. We saw a couple of stories break that weren't necessarily true, and then people had to go back and forth and say, whoa. That's not true. Why are you saying that? And then they got to apologize. Who on Alpine was like, oh, we're just going to break this story right now? Like,
you know what? I think we should just lie.
He didn't sign the paper. There's no gray area. Like, it's either he did or didn't sign the paper. There's no what they should have done was, if they wanted to spin the buzz and at least get people talking about him, they could have just been like, we're in discussion.
Or say who do you guys want to see as our driver next year? Question mark.
Something kind of to just fill the dead air of why did he leave? Why did Alonso leave? Oh my God, is something going on? Just fill the news cycle.
Just to say we're not cowering in the corner because Alonso left. We're working on some stuff,
We're going to do something. So I thought that whole situation's weird, and now we're going to see where they go from here. And now it's going to be a suit. And to finish this off, if I do remember correctly reading yesterday that Alpine said that they were first made aware of Alonso's decision when he made the decision. Yeah,
that was apparently that happened really out of the blue, out of nowhere, and that he actually gave hints that he was going to be at the team longer, very recently, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. So there was the rumors that Piastri, this is the last thing I'll say on F1, because I think that we'd be remiss to not mention this about the Piastri situation, that there were rumors that he was going to be going to Williams, taking Latifi's spot. Yep. The GOAT, Nicky Latifi.
The GOAT.
The Canadian legend. That was the rumor for a while, that he was going to be filling in for him, even later this season. And nothing really came of that. And the rumor now, because of this whole situation, is that Oscar Piastri is going to end up at McLaren, taking over for Daniel Ricciardo's spot. And I don't think that's too bad. No. I mean, that leaves a pretty big, then the question is, what's going to happen with Alpine? And
I think Alpine's a great spot for Ricciardo.
Well, he was already there.
Yeah, but go back. He was there when they were a different team.
Nah,
they're not the same team. Different owner, different sponsors, different team principals, different peoples.
We'll see.
That's a whole different situation.
Pierre Gasly.
I think what Alonso did, I think this just set off a chain reaction, and we could be in for some serious driver changes this year.
Silly season is upon us.
Silly season.
Okay, let's talk UFC, because
let's do this.
There was a big card last weekend.
Yep.
As I say, every card, huge card. Huge implications. There was UFC 277 in Dallas, Texas. Once again, three Texas pay-per-views in a row that Derek Lewis was on the card.
Because he was in Houston
for the last 2, and he lost all 3 of them in Houston, so that sucks. But it was a good card. I mean, I wasn't, to be honest, when I was looking at the summer schedule for UFC pay-per-views, this is not one I was super excited about, because I thought, co-main are these little flyweights. I mean, nah, I said these little flyweights. But Brandon Moreno is a superstar.
Dog.
He's a superstar in the UFC, though. Like, people absolutely love him. Kai Car-France is electric. He's got those ties to Izzy and Volk, and then the main event being the rematch with the ladies that I think everybody just kind of assumed that Amanda Nunes was going to actually take this serious and smoke her.
After her underestimating of last Julian Pennington fight.
I wasn't like the most excited for this card, but what a good time. Like, what a good card from top to bottom, basically. And the main card started with Anthony Smith fighting Ankalaev.
Yeah, and that was a good fight until it wasn't.
Good fight for a while, and then Anthony Smith apparently broke his ankle in the fight.
Shin, ankles, in that area.
I think it came out that it was his left ankle.
Oh, it did come out? Okay, because I knew the broadcast know right away.
He was saying he broke his leg.
Yeah, because he was pointing to Rogan.
I broke my leg.
They were talking about it.
But again, I think it came out that it was a broken ankle. Derek Lewis fought. Early stoppage for Derek Lewis.
So I think we should pause and talk about this. You think it was an early stoppage?
I think that there was no question that it was an early stoppage, but I think it was 1 to 2 punches away from being right on time for the stoppage, and I think that it wasn't that egregious to like be ready to step in right there because of the way Derek hit the ground and flopped his head on the ground.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like, you got to come in, and then he takes 1 or 2 more shots, and he stopped it. But I think if we could have seen like 1 or 2 more shots, we could have seen if Derek was gonna get straight up or if he was gonna fall back down, roll, whatever.
Maybe just try and pull guard or something crazy.
Yeah, made it tough. He's a blue belt.
He is like a.
I think he's a blue belt.
He's a blue belt.
Yeah, in jiu-jitsu.
I think what's interesting though too, if you put yourself in a referee's position, right? So I feel like the
such a hard job.
Well, it's like the NFL when they get hit in the head, right? It's like, does the NFL interfere for player safety, or is it that's part of the game? Same thing I kind of felt like happened here for UFC. The refs are in charge of making sure the fighter is capable and their health is put first, right? Like that is the ref's job, to make sure it's clean, legal, safe. If you're the ref in this position, the way, like you said, the way Lewis falls, his arms kind of fold in on himself, go limp, his head hits sideways on the mat. His lights are out for that split second.
It at least seems like it.
It does seem that way.
Yeah.
And then if the ref doesn't stop it, what was the other fighter's name? Sorry.
Yeah.
The Russian?
Yes.
I know he's Russian. Sorry. Apologies.
What's his name? Yes.
I think we got to remember, like, he would have been over top of him, putting all his weight down on him, and then just hammering. Like, that's important to remember because Derek popped up, and everyone's like, oh, he popped back up. Yeah, but the ref kind of took the Russian out of the fight at that point, and Derek popped back up to the ref. That's what happened. So I think we got to give the ref a little bit of benefit of the doubt here, just because he looked like his light switch got flicked off. By
Sergey Pavlovich.
Thank you for the...
No offense to Sergey.
Yeah,
it was a good fight, and it takes nothing away from his victory, I don't think. Because
no, it was dominant. The first, 45 seconds? It was just domination.
He was beating Derek in that first round. Yep. But I don't know if it was over yet.
No,
that's all.
But Dana did say it takes nothing away from Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
This has no effect on
come on.
what they think, but
I think with Derek, you put him up against anybody in the top 10 of heavyweight, and he has a chance to knock him out. So
because
I don't think it takes too much away from Derek. Yeah.
No, it's just I think the next fight, the pressure is on Derek. To lose 4 and he was knocked out
4 out of 5 because he won one in there.
2 out of those last 3, right? Something like that. I know Tai Tuivasa knocked him out.
Yeah.
And then he got knocked out this last fight. Sergey, I think this next fight, the pressure's on him to say, hey, look, I'm still a top 10 heavyweight. I'm still here. I can still contend. And
what a funny guy.
Derek?
If I could have one fighter on every fight week, I think it'd be Derek Lewis. He's absolutely hilarious.
You like it?
Yes.
You like his character?
Yes. He's so funny. He's such a casual guy, just destroying the media. He's like, you guys suck. You're all a bunch of liars. I love it. Another interesting fight from that night was the flyweights that fought. Pantoja, newly ranked number 2, Alexandra. It's Alex Pantoja. Yeah. He steamrolled Alex Perez
quickly.
That was like, he was not gonna see the second round.
That was a masterclass.
He decided when he got in that octagon, I think his walkout was Many Men, which is which is fantastic, like top tier walkout song if that's what it was, if I recall. But what a good fight. He just decided. Like, I'm not seeing the second round. I will finish this guy. Tried to do it with his hands. Got him on the backpack. Choked him out. These flyweights who weigh so little, they can, and they're so strong, right? They can stay on your back all day.
Yeah, because they're not heavy.
Swinging that arm. I'm choking the mic out. Swinging the arms around the mic. Oh, and he just gets it right under his face. I don't even think it was under his chin. Under his chin. No, because
he had more of like a head crank.
And he was just cranking his head.
Yeah, which I talked to somebody at one of my jobs, and he's been a UFC fan for years. He's seen it all. And he was going on. It's like, head crank, you're almost in a worse position. Because at least you're getting choked out. You just kind of slowly lose consciousness. You're getting your head cranked, your jaw's under pressure. Your head's gonna pop. Your head's sideways, your neck is sideways, your head is just being squished.
It's not like this is your buddy at the gym who's doing it. This is the guy trying to murder you.
Yeah.
So he's pulling as hard as he can.
Yeah, and like you said, he got the body triangle so quick.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he was just hanging on there.
That was a good fight, and I want to talk a bit more about flyweight after we talk about the co-main event, the Brandon Moreno interim title against Kai Kara France. What a fantastic fight.
Great fight.
Bunch of dogs. Yeah. I think there's a lot of respect between these two guys because the flyweights, these lighter guys, it's hard to make a name for yourself. And it's not a division that's been around for a long time, so there's not a lot of history in there. So when these guys get the opportunity to actually grow their fan base and have these big performances and they get a big crowd around them, like Brandon Moreno, like I was saying, is a superstar.
Yeah.
Especially in places like Texas, they fight in Arizona. The people that are going to come out to see Brandon Moreno are a plethora.
Well, I think he had almost a home crowd advantage.
Absolutely. People are going insane for him. And then getting a guy like Kai Kara France who's got all this hype behind him too. His last fight in Ohio, he totally won the crowd over a dog fight. So, what a good fight.
So I think it's just before we switch to the next fight.
Yeah, no,
the way that fight ended, was kind of crazy. First round, Moreno dominated that first round,
and I think the second one too.
You think he had the second one?
I think he had the second one, but it was
the
closer.
Second one was closer. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then in the third round,
it looked like Kai had it.
Kai was finding his range, making great kicks, connecting him. Kind of looked like he might have shaken him up a couple times.
Destroyed his face. 10 stitches.
Right. Oh yeah, right across. Yeah, he did the press conference and he's just bleeding into his suit.
Yeah. Hugging Megan O'Leary and getting blood on her. Come on, man. Show some class, man.
God, not to her.
Not on Megan.
And then 25 seconds left in the third round. I forget what happens, but he had Moreno kind of going backwards, and he tried to kind of grapple with him for a split second. And then Kai starts backpedaling out of it, and as he's backpedaling, he just takes a kick to the liver.
Yeah.
You heard it. For us to hear,
like a smack.
We hear the punches and stuff on our sound system, but you could hear that. You felt that kick, and he dropped so quickly.
He just crumbled.
Yeah, and he tried to kick him off once with a little bit of an up heel kick type thing to just kind of buy himself an extra second, and it was over, and then he just started getting fed, but I think we see that fight again.
I think, we totally could. See that fight again. I think that Kai Kara France should fight Alex Perez, who lost in that other flyweight, who's the one who got the head crank.
Yep.
And Pantoja should fight. Again, Pantoja's already lost to Figueiredo, but Pantoja could fight the winner of Figueiredo Moreno 4.
You think, so much. Yeah, I know. They fight a lot. You think he fights the winner of that?
I think he definitely could, or there's Askar Askarov in there too, who could fight any of them. Flyweight's actually interesting, which is nice. More interesting than, we'll talk about it later, but light heavyweight.
And as a new UFC fan, this is a cool division because, like you said, not a lot of history. You don't really go into UFC being like, yo, who's this flyweight? So I think that's very interesting that it's another division that could be loaded for a next little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna see some fun fights out of there. And then there was the main event, and I'm not gonna lie, you were there. I said this to you.
I was there.
We made the predictions before the fight. What do you think's gonna happen here? It's the big rematch. A lot of hype around this. I was actually feeling the hype all week.
Oh yeah.
And I looked at both you guys and I said, Amanda Nunes. And when you guys asked me what round, I held one finger up in the air and I said 1 round. She's going to take her out. Little did I know, and I sit corrected, because Juliana Pena is a dog.
Okay, so I thought because I predicted the 3rd round.
Yeah.
And then when you said 1 and she got wobbled, wobbled, she got put down.
I was feeling good about that.
I know. I was like, wow, there's still 2 minutes left, and she just took 2 crazy left hooks to the dome.
Yeah.
And she went down hard. I'm like, wow, 1 more of those. And then she tried a spinning elbow, and I'm like, how? She's going to connect 1 of these in the 1st round. She connected a bunch of them.
A lot of them,
in the 1st round. And she kept getting back up and walking towards her. Pena just got up, 2 steps forward. Went down, got up, 2 steps forward. And you got to respect her for that.
Yeah.
But we both agreed that Pena was just going to get dog walked this fight by Nunes. She did.
Yeah, but all respect to Juliana Pena. It was a great fight. Like, honestly, like, one of the most fun main events we've had in a while.
Well,
just because we've had the main events in the last 2 cards like not fall through, but like end very unceremoniously.
Broken ankles, torn shoulders. But I think what was interesting about this fight, just because she is the dog, Nunes and Pena, but I thought was very interesting here. Nunes was dominating the fight, and you said this too, because I was like, why is she going to the ground? Like, she had so much success on her feet. Why are you going to the ground? You don't need to be on the ground. You're just absolutely killing her. And then you kind of pointed out, it's like, but she hit her with like her 10 best shots.
Yeah.
And she just kept getting back up, and it was like a stamina thing. So she took her to the ground and just started feeding her elbows, cut her open on the hairline. Not just cut her open,
took a chunk out of her.
Yeah, a chunk out of her face.
That was the rumor after the fight, was that she was going to have to go get plastic surgery. That's what Dana White said. But I think Juliana said that didn't happen. She didn't need it. She just needed some stitches or something.
That was pretty impressive. And I think the takeaway from this is that even though Pena was getting killed on the ground, she tried. I think, had a couple armbar submission attempts that were tight.
She was definitely trying.
Yeah, and there was a few of those where I was like, oh, she might have that. And
they weren't bad,
yeah. She slipped out, but that's what happens when you're bleeding. Like,
but
crazy.
Like, Nunes is skilled on the ground too with her jiu-jitsu. So
yeah.
I wasn't super worried for Nunes, but it was definitely possible for her to get caught, especially if she would like let her guard down. But
which is what happened, I feel like, the first fight. So I feel like she was like, no, I'm not gonna let my guard down. I'm not gonna let my guard down. And then all of a sudden her arm's stuck in there, and it's like, oh my God, panic. She didn't panic though. She did a good reverse. She stepped back over, got her arm out of there every single time. And I think she won 5 rounds.
She did.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. She said she could have finished her in the first.
Who?
Nunes.
Why didn't she?
That's the question, isn't it?
Because I think she tried to finish her in the first, and it didn't work. Like you said, she gave her 10 hardest punches to the dome over the course of that second round, because I think it was 6 knockdowns in the first 2 rounds.
No, I think I had three.
No, but I thought it was something more than that.
I think it was 3, but
I thought it was 3 in the first round.
It was definitely, I think, 3 in the first 2.
Okay,
but or something like that.
But it was still crazy. She dominated her. We thought Nunes underestimated her the first time, and she wasn't gonna let that happen. This time, the double champ is back.
Do they run it back? Last thing on the card.
Do they run it back? I think Pena has to win 1, maybe 2 fights, and she gets that fight back.
What about Valentina Shevchenko?
Against Nunes?
Yeah.
I think we have to see that.
We've seen it twice.
But we see it again.
And we could see it again.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's your take? Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it again? I mean, I feel like, so this was interesting, though, when you have...
I don't have much of a take.
You have a couple dominant women in those divisions. You got it, and they might fight each other a couple times. I know Dana's not a big, after the 3P, you don't need to see it again. But I feel like, especially in the women's case, where they're so dominant, back and forth, especially like we just saw the belt change hands, you got to run it back again, right?
Yeah. I could definitely see them going again. Juliana's definitely willing to fight for that belt again. So maybe get 1 win and then see who Nunes will fight in the meantime.
Because
maybe it'll be Valentina.
It's a different weight class too.
What is?
Right, Pena and
Valentina's 125. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's another whole thing. Do we get a triple champ?
A triple champ? No. She'd be going up.
Oh, okay.
She'd be going up.
Okay.
Yeah, she wouldn't be going down. That'd be crazy.
That would be a crazy weight cut.
But I don't think there's any way Amanda Nunes can make 125.
No, you don't think so?
No. She prefer 145. Yeah. But so the next card that's coming up, we'll just do a little take on it just because it is coming up. Light heavyweight main event. Thiago Santos, number 6, takes on Jamal Hill, number 10, at the Apex on the 6th.
I'm a heavyweight fan.
Light heavyweight is boring, low key.
Yeah, you think so?
There's just nobody, nothing crazy going on.
Yeah.
Like, Ankalaev is now basically at the top there.
Okay. But
Jan
I feel like
Blachowicz is lingering at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Prohaska says he might want to fight Glover Teixeira again.
That's what I was thinking.
Which is like, why?
Yeah.
He didn't even defend his belt. It's like, all respect to him, but if you want to fight for the belt again, you should like maybe win another fight.
Just an idea.
Like, not that crazy. Like, win another fight, and then I think Glover, he would be like ready to fight for the belt again, but maybe not coming right off of a loss.
I mean, I'm a heavyweight fan, but light heavyweight, I'm not like, again, new UFC fan here, so it's like I'm not super familiar with these guys in light heavyweight. But hey, they're gonna bang, bro.
Well, Thiago Santos, I hope Jamal makes him bang because he used to bang.
And now he does not bang.
Since John Jones, Thiago Santos does not bang. That's all I got for UFC. Do you want to hit? Yeah, you got to hit us with this.
Okay, so
or do you want me to run through NHL quick? Because the only thing I want to talk about in NHL is Matthew Tkachuk because we didn't get a chance to talk about it.
Right.
Matthew Tkachuk traded from Calgary to Florida. That's the only thing Florida got out of this trade. Calgary gets Jonathan Huberdeau, got 115 points last season, second most points in the NHL. Also got probably a number 2 defenseman in Mackenzie Weegar, an Ottawa boy, Mackenzie Weegar, a prospect, and a first rounder, all for Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk signs a big fat deal in Florida.
Huge.
Weegar and Huberdeau both say they want to sign big contracts. Well, they said they'd be willing to look at big contracts in Calgary. So it kind of looks like it's a win-win-ish.
I think it's a win for Calgary.
I definitely think it's more of a win for Calgary. Especially because the last thing I say before we get into it is Tkachuk told them with a level head and kind of thinking with the best interest of the Flames, told them he's not going to sign a deal with them. He said, I don't want to sign a long-term deal with you guys. Once my contract's up, I'm going to be gone. So if you want to trade me now, let's do this.
Exactly.
So I think that shows a lot of respect.
Yeah, because I think Matthew Tkachuk respected the Flames organization. I just don't think he was sold on the city. And the general manager for the Flames, forgive me not knowing his name, he did do a video press conference type thing. And his big thing was that he was mad that some players weren't fans of the city, and they're a big community, and they're supported in Calgary. So what I got from that was he didn't want to play in Calgary. Like that, I feel like that was the bottom line. It had nothing to do with the team, coaches, players. He didn't want to be in Calgary. And hey, like you said, respect him for helping out the Flames with a trade. And I feel like the Flames got
the better
out of this. Yeah,
I would take take this with a grain of salt, but I would consider a Huberdeau for Tkachuk 1-for-1 trade to be pretty well even.
Yeah, and then you just got a little extra tossed on there.
Yeah, some pretty good extra tossed on there. Mackenzie Weegar, I'd love to have him on Ottawa, but that's all I got for NHL. There is some other stuff going on, but we won't get into it. 72 days until the start of the NHL season.
We'll have lots of time.
So that's really what we're looking forward to. Nothing else.
Nothing else? Well, let me tell you what's coming up.
I don't think I have anything else going on.
In about 44 days now, 42 days.
What's going on?
We got the NFL season.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been a wild ride in the last couple of days. So we're going to start off with a little bit of cross news between F1 and NFL.
Oh, yeah?
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, the knighted Sir Lewis.
The Knights buys in to the NFL owners group of the Denver Broncos.
So I read this headline.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
he owns part of the team.
So is he gonna kick for them? He's gonna be the kicker.
I think him and Roscoe are just chilling. Yeah,
him and his dog.
Yeah, him and his dog are just chilling.
What do they? He just owns it now.
Yeah, he just an owner. Bought in. He's part owner. He probably has a percentage and stake in the team. I don't know if the details were released. I was at work when I saw the headline. I just knew we had to talk about it today. I didn't have a lot of research time when I got home. Yeah. But no, I think this is cool. Like Lewis has a lot of buzz around him. And this is amazing for the NFL because what the NFL has been trying to do, they've been playing England games and they've been playing other European games. They got a game in Germany, I think, coming up shortly, which they sold crazy amount of tickets for. They could have sold out 3 stadiums, I think, with the amount of people waiting in like the queue to buy tickets. So they sold out before they could even, get halfway down the queue. So this is great for the NFL because they've been trying to spread into Europe and other areas of the world. So this is great for them. And this is just good. It's going to bring more eyes onto the NFL. But what I don't know if the NFL wants is more eyes on them today. Because yesterday we find out that Deshaun Watson, after this year-long case, all this stuff that Deshaun has been doing that is super sensitive. And I'm the wrong person to talk about what he's been doing because it's just absolutely ridiculous that he only got 6-game suspension after lawsuits, civil suits, and the allegations, this very serious allegations that came out against him.
Appalling. Literally,
you could have been the biggest Deshaun Watson fan and you despise the guy now. It's just kind of ridiculous. So, the NFLPA came to an agreement with the NFL board that Goodell wouldn't have the first say of a suspension. So it came down to the players and teams were mad that Goodell could just point a finger, Connor, you're suspended. Get out of here. They wanted a process. So the NFLPA came to an agreement with their next contract, which was signed about last year, I think it was, that there would be a third-party review, a judge. So there's a judge. I know the first name is Sue. Can't remember the last name at this moment. She reads 5 cases. Only 5 out of 32 or something like that crazy. She reads 5 Deshaun Watson cases, and I think it's she. And she come to the consensus that 6 games is what's deserved because they were non-violent sexual acts. I don't agree with that.
Again, I'm not one to talk about this topic, exactly. But is a sexual act not inherently violent?
It's violating.
If you're someone who's being assaulted sexually, I'd say that's quite violent.
So, and the fact that the judge only looked at 5 out of the 30-something cases is kind of ridiculous. So the NFLPA comes out and says, we're not going to appeal this. The Cleveland Browns come out and say, we're not going to appeal this. Well, they got handed a deal here for the Cleveland Browns just spent $250 million on this guy. And there's no fine attached to this either. You get 6 games, that's it. And no fine. So obviously the reactions yesterday and today have just been an uproar because that's just not suitable. That's ridiculous, especially in the movements and, what has been going on in the last couple of years of people coming out and speaking up for themselves. I think it's very important. So this is ridiculous. It looks terrible on the NFL that he is only getting a 6-game suspension with no fine. The next story I purposely put underneath this because I want you to hear the contrast, okay? Also today, the NFL announces that they finished their investigation into the Dolphins' mishandling of tampering with players and coaches. So they announced today that the Dolphins will lose a first-round 2023 draft pick, a third-round 2024 draft pick for tampering involving Tom Brady and Sean Payton, that they had reached out to them while those 2 guys were under contract with other teams, New England, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, we'll get there, for reaching out and talking to them and trying to bring them over and offer them deals and things like that, but they're under contract. You can't do that, just in case you didn't know. They talked with Tom Brady in 2019 and 2020 with the Patriots. They talked with him in 2020 and 2021 with the Bucks. They talked with Sean Payton before he retired. And that's that. The owner gets suspended until October 17th. The owner was fined $1.5 million. The chairman, Bruce Beal, was fined $500,000 and ordered not to attend any league meetings in 2022.
Sounds like some discipline.
Do you see the contrast between my 2 stories that I just read?
Yeah, definitely.
So essentially what they're saying is, oh yeah, you tampered with our baby, with our league, so we're gonna discipline you. But Deshaun can just get a 6-game suspension and not even blink. And the Cleveland Browns knew what this was gonna do, so they gave him a signing bonus for the first year that's not subject to be suspended, even if the league finded Deshaun Watson. So this is just kind of ridiculous. I feel like this is a terrible look for the NFL. And also, why is Tom Brady and Sean Payton not being put in this? They answered the phone. They're under contract. They know what their contract can and cannot do. And today they said the NFL will have no penalties for those two. Also a little weird. You answered the phone. In Sean Payton's case, they said he talked to his agent. In Tom Brady's case, they said they talked to Tom Brady. So should Brady get a slap on the wrist? Should something happen to him?
They love Tom Brady. They
love him. So that's my little legal rant for the NFL, because now we got real stories to talk about in the NFL. Deebo Samuel for the 49ers finally reaches an extension contract at 3 years and $71.55 million. $41 million guaranteed. Good for the 49ers. Obviously, I'm not a 49ers fan.
Not quite.
But good for him. We love to see players getting paid. That's what we need. Tim Patrick with the Denver Broncos tears his ACL literally before we started recording this podcast. So that sucks for Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. You got to feel for him because this was his 3rd year in the NFL, I want to say. Up-and-coming star, had a great season last year, so this sucks. He's going to be out for the season. If Denver can get to the playoffs, maybe he'll be eligible for then, but that's just sucks. Van Jefferson, also a wide receiver for the Rams. He will have knee surgery. There has been no timeline given for that, so that's another big hit for wide receivers for Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Another knee explosion with the Bucs center, Ryan Jensen. He will be out, quote-unquote, months after a knee surgery. He blew his knee out in practice. That's Tom Brady's center. For those of you who don't know, the center and quarterback relationship, super important because that's the guy giving you the ball. That's got to be clean, quick, and precise. So they're going to be shifting around the line because with Tampa, Ali Marpet retired last year. Alex Kapka is now with the Bengals on a 4-year, $35 million contract. So they just lost 3 linemen in 1 year. That's crazy, and I think it's on the left side, which is even worse. So they're going to be shifting around. Robert Hainsey is going to be the center. He's a second-year NFL player. And Luke Godicki, excuse my pronunciation, is going to step in. He was drafted this year, 57th overall. So he's a rookie, and he'll be stepping in. So that could be interesting for Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, just because obviously Tom Brady's a little bit older. He likes a good pocket. We all know that. That'll be interesting to see what the Tampa Bay Bucs can do. Chase Young with the Washington Commanders will at least miss the opener due to a knee injury. I didn't read a lot of info about this today, but that is a huge blow to Washington, who's trying to get off to a good start. There's been lots of controversy around Carson Wentz coming there, if he's the guy. There's been lots of controversy around the team itself with their owner. New name, all that stuff.
They got to turn it around.
Their stadium's falling apart.
Yep.
So they're trying to get off to a hot start, and that's difficult for them. DK Metcalf signs a 3-year extension, $72 million with the Seahawks. Good for the Seahawks.
Yep,
I mean, I don't think as a Packers fan, I think I was really hoping DK was going to come on over. But it didn't happen. He is with the rebuilding Seahawks. I guess you can call him rebuilding. So good for him, but I don't see that team doing anything crazy. They got, I think it's Drew Lock throwing the ball. Drew Lock, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then finally, Julio Jones signs a 1-year deal with the Bucs. Again, the only other team that offered him a contract, I think, late in the stages was the Packers. I'm kind of glad he didn't go to the Packers in this situation. Older guy. He's been injured many years in a row. You usually only get about 5-6 games out of him that are like he's 100% healthy. And when it's snowing and windy in Green Bay, that's just not going to work out. So that's our NFL recap. Try to get through that pretty quickly.
Holy smokes.
There was a lot going on there.
It's just going to get crazier when we get closer to the season.
So we're pumped. We got 40-something days until the NFL season kicks off, and we're all super excited. Hopefully the NFL can clear the garbage that is coming out of the league right now. Roger Goodell, the NFL did not say that they were going to appeal the decision, but it is clear that the NFL was hoping that Judge Sue was going to give him more games. But this new clause that the NFL put in, it would be very odd if Roger Goodell appealed the brand new clause that they put into the contract. Yeah. And guess whose desk it comes back to if they appeal it?
Who?
Roger Goodell.
There we go.
So he can appeal the decision, and then the decision comes back to his desk. It's a little interesting. It's a very sticky situation for the NFL. It's a terrible situation for Deshaun Watson. He should be gone for the year, in my opinion. You might think that's harsh, but look at the facts. So,
yeah, we'll keep you up to date on that as it continues.
Yeah.
But, man, some crazy stuff going on there.
Mm-hmm. I had to blow through that because there was a lot going on.
Yeah, that's
there,
all
so
good.
I had to get through it.
There's gonna be more NFL stuff by the time we
right.
get closer to the season.
That's right.
Have you been watching anything recently? Other than sports? Holy smoke.
Yeah, I know. Sports kind of taking over our lives here. I'm watching Training Camp every day.
Every day. On the Sports Network.
No, I'm tackling the boys.
Oh, still mid-tackle?
Yeah, so I'm at the last episode. Season 3, episode 8. I will be watching it tomorrow. But I watched 5, 6, and 7. Man, that show gets better by the episode.
It's crazy. It's one of the shows where the episode ends and you just want the next one to start.
And that's what happened because I'm always like, one episode. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Let's chill. Run it.
Nope.
Just hit play. Get it going. Run it. Yeah, so so I don't want to spoil anything for anybody because, again, it's still fresh. So I always feel bad if we're talking about it too much.
Yeah.
And it gets spoiled. But great new characters introduced. We're finally seeing the newest character that they added, storyline coming out. Starlight did some crazy things. I don't know how to describe it, but now she is like live streaming, so that's a big thing. A big storyline in the last. Maybe check her out on Twitch. Yeah.
Playing Mario Kart on Twitch.
Playing the new Homelander video game.
Yeah.
No, she's live streaming some VOD action. So yeah. I feel like that's super interesting. She's opening up to the people, being more transparent.
They do such a good job of like showing like the modern. Like getting the modern take on these heroes. Mm-hmm. Like it toes the line right between like being too much and like ham-fisted at like their attempts to like mimic and show parallels to like reality.
Yep.
They toe right on that line of it being too ham-fisted
yeah.
and being like just subtle enough that like it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that they reference to and like compare to like the real world stuff. It's so good.
And it's good to see that they're not just ignoring that everyone has a cell phone.
Yeah, right? Like
I feel like a lot of other shows do that.
Like what Ian's referring to is like a tactic, a strategy that she's using. And why wouldn't she be doing that? It works perfect. It works the way it works in the show, right?
Yeah,
like
that's how it works in real life, right?
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Can't do things that get caught on camera.
Yeah.
So, and then once...
You got a camera in your pocket.
That's been a storyline since season 2 of The Boys. Because there is, if you've seen season 2, there is a plane incident where it's caught on camera, and that is an underlying threat for that specific superhero in that moment. So, I don't want to give away too much, but...
Good show.
I'm watching the last episode tomorrow. It's going to be great because you're really starting to see the cracks in Homelander. Like, we knew that he was going crazy. We talked about it last episode. But you're really now he's cracking in public.
Yeah,
you can see it coming through. It's getting to him. It's getting to others. Compound V's nuts. So
I want some of that.
Compound V's great. Just let me have some.
I want some.
Let me see what happens. So that'll be interesting. And then I also did finally watch the new Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
really good.
Yeah, you liked it.
I was pretty happy with it.
I liked it too.
I mean, I'm not. Again, I've said it. I'm a disclaimer. Not Marvel's #1 fan. But I thought it was one of my more favorite modern Marvels. So, from the original Avengers in the last couple of years, I guess you can say. It was one of my favorites. I love the twist, the special effects. Doctor Strange is dope.
He's a cool guy.
He's cool. Wanda, dope. Like, great powers,
I thought
great
they did a good job.
arcs. I thought they did a good job. I actually was impressed with the special effects. I know Marvel, that's like their biggest thing.
Absolutely.
But in Doctor Strange, they really played with...
They do a lot.
Yeah,
they do
really
a lot
with it. So I thought that was really good. The only complaint that I have, I felt like the end was all for nothing.
I agree, actually.
Yeah.
I had a very similar take on it, and it felt like it undid stuff from certain characters in previous things. It just felt like my big issue with it was, like you said, what's the point? Like it doesn't really hit, and maybe it will in the future when we loop back to it, but that doesn't change the fact that when you're just watching this movie, it feels like it doesn't hit as hard as it could. And I will say something that, not a spoiler, but yes, a spoiler, but because you just watched it, in the end, when the girl character, is able to, how am I supposed to even talk
just
about
say
this?
It's been out for long enough.
Yeah, when she figures out how to use her powers properly.
Yes.
The fact that the way she figures it out is he says, "You've been able to do it all along," and then she goes, "Oh yeah, you're right," and then just does it. Now she just knows how to do it. She can do it perfectly now. Come on.
I can do it, and because really that's the power that's been like missing from the Marvel universe, right?
Well,
because they've been playing. Because the only other way that they can do that is with the Tesseract.
Or with something.
Or some of the stones, whatever, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Again, not Marvel's biggest fan. But
there was one of the, I think it was one of the directors or something of like one of the upcoming Marvel features was like, we can't deny that her character is able to do a skill, like her power is very specific to what we're going to be playing around with in the future. So we can't just jump around that.
Yeah, and I feel like they wrote her in because they're like, wow, we're going to need her. Like Marvel's writers were like, we're gonna need this, and there's no other way to write this in.
Well,
but I thought it was really good. I thought they did a good job. But even for Wanda, like that's where I felt the ending fell off, was because we saw WandaVision. You see the series, you see everything she just did. You reference it.
This is a spoiler. What he's saying right now.
Yes, they reference it. I mean, if you haven't seen WandaVision, get it together.
No, but it's also a Doctor Strange spoiler.
Yeah, also get it together. Like I watched it. You had lots.
It's
of time
on
to
Disney.
Watch it.
It's on Disney.
So at the end, and they're just like WandaVision. It's like, oh. I give what I just took.
She's seen the error of her ways.
I gave back what I just took.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I give back everything that I've just worked for because I've realized this is bad. This is bad. I shouldn't do this. Now it's gone. And I was like, okay, I get it. You had an enlightening moment. But I was kind of counting on Wanda for being a villain for a little longer.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think she was going to be... Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It was just some inconsistencies. Yeah. I'd like to talk about the movie I saw recently, Marvel.
Oh?
I saw Thor.
You did? You remember saw Late Show.
Last episode, I was like, I'm going to see Thor after this. And today, I'm going to see a movie after this today, too.
What are you seeing?
I don't know yet. It depends when we're done. I'm going to see Elvis or I'm going to see Nope.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing Elvis this weekend.
Okay, cool. Yes, but Thor Love and Thunder, I saw that like last, I guess, almost 2 weeks ago. Pretty good. Mixed.
And that's your take.
Mixed feelings about it. Had a very fun time, but it sort of felt like 2 or 3 movies mixed into one. Natalie Portman did a great job.
Buff Portman?
She wasn't that buff.
No?
No.
From the trailer, like she looked buff.
Dazed in the trailer.
Yeah, it looked like
she was
CGI,
actually
boom.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But she was actually great. Like loved her character, but it had a bit of like some tonal issues where it was like sometimes being very serious, but then almost every scene had like some wacky joke that they would recall to, like screaming goats and like from like the like early 2010s, like the screaming goat meme, like
I feel
just
like
weird stuff like that.
I feel like the last Thor movie was good, but it had the same problem.
But the last Thor movie, see, that's if you compare it to that one had more of a streamlined story where it was like we know where we're going with this. This one was a bit more like, let's just fill the time until the big fight at the end, kind of.
Marvel.
But, like, that's kind of the Marvel thing, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like, let's just try to limp through this plot on the backs of our funny and likable characters. You know what I mean?
I do.
But it definitely wasn't bad, and I had a really good time watching it.
Okay.
But if I look at it through a critical lens, there was definitely some things that were a bit... not like satisfactory about it, you know what? I'm speaking like a politician here.
Do they take Thor? Because I did not like the way Thor was in the last Avengers.
He's more goofy.
Oh, man.
I know.
don't want that.
No,
though.
neither do I.
I want. Give me like medium hair Thor. Give me eye patch Thor.
No eye patch. No.
Give me eye patch Thor. Give me battle axe Thor. Give me all of that. Make him cool. Because this is what he is. He's cool. He's a god. And it just feels like every movie that he's in the Marvel, obviously, I'm referring to Thor, the character. Every movie goes on and it's just like, oh, Thor is strong. Now he's out of shape and goofy. Oh, now he's just goofy. Oh, now he's just out of shape. And whatever Thor Love and Thunder was.
Yeah. He's definitely good in it. And there's some good scenes. There's some awesome, really fun scenes. But yeah, just didn't hit as hard as I would have liked. But that's okay. I would definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you're a Marvel fan. Like, if you've probably already seen it. What am I talking about?
If you're a diehard Marvel fan.
Speaking of upcoming movies, which we weren't, but now I'm going to be. While I was in theaters to see that, I saw a trailer for what they are calling, and my God, they're calling this the last Halloween movie.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it for a second.
That's bullshit.
But that's coming up. The last Halloween movie's coming up. Saw a trailer for that. Saw a trailer for Nope, which is like, but it was like the longest one I'd seen.
Not just like
the running around from like spaceships.
The horse.
And it actually like changed my opinion on the movie.
Really?
Like it did make me want to see it more, but I was a little bit like, I don't want to see all this much. Like,
you didn't want to see that much in the trailer?
Yeah.
See, I feel like quick segue here. I feel like trailers do that. If it's a good trailer, it tells you enough about the movie without telling you anything about the movie, which is what the Amsterdam movie did last week when we were talking about it. It was like the trailer gave me nothing, but it gave me everything.
Yeah, I watched that trailer, and it was really good.
And then but I saw some ratings of Nope, and it got some mixed ratings, and then the ratings pages that I follow and watch posted their ratings, and then people in the comment section were just having a field day. They were just like, I don't agree with those ratings. That's too high. I didn't like it. And some people were like, oh, it was an art piece. It was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the Jordan Peele fan base. Half of them think he's an amazing artist and it's the best ever. And then the other half's like, yeah, it was good. It was cool.
Well, yeah, I think some people are most of the complaints that I'm seeing are that he's gone like from Get Out, which is like a very like smaller, like what's the word, like an enclosed story where it's like just affecting these people, to like Us, which affected like a ton of people and was like bigger scale, and now he's going to like a movie where it's like huge scale craziness, like affecting all these people, big special effects. So people might be a bit taken aback by the fact that he's taking such like a wide approach to it, but
well, that's what happens when you shoot the movie on IMAX.
Yeah, you know, when you actually have a budget. But I'm excited to see it. I think that's what I'm going to end up seeing tonight. Speaking of more upcoming stuff, Bullet Train, they're doing advanced screenings of that. That looks pretty good.
I saw the trailer for that. Brad Pitt. I'll watch any Brad Pitt movie.
Yeah, and it's getting good reviews. I hear it's like, what did they say? They said it was like Snowpiercer mixes Murder on the Orient Express.
Sign me up.
So I think I'm about that with like very stylistic action. So
that's what I saw was the style. It looked super vibrant.
Yeah.
It looked like popping out of my screen vibrant.
Looked crazy.
Looked cool, yeah.
So I have some Comic-Con stuff to note, but do you want to say do you have any upcoming things you want to talk about?
Okay, so the trailer I watched today.
Yes.
Cars on the Road.
I haven't seen any of these movies, man.
Dude, Cars on the Road. I'm a big Cars fan.
I like the first one a lot.
See, I like them all.
I haven't seen any of the other ones.
They're so good. He's a spy. It's so good.
But he's a car.
Don't.
He's a spy, but he's a car.
Dude, don't kill the magic.
Sorry. He's a car, but he's a spy.
Exactly.
Got it.
No, I like all the Cars movies. I think Cars is like a crazy good animated movie.
Sure.
And I'm not like the biggest animated fan, but that movie looked great. So Cars on the Road, they're going on a road trip.
Wait, is this Lightning McQueen?
Lightning McQueen, baby.
Okay.
McQueen with his best buddy, Mater.
Yep.
They're going on a road trip because Mater's sister is getting married. So they got to go on a road trip from Radiator Springs to wherever Mater's sister is.
Who's she marrying?
See, I don't know. I didn't get that far. I just thought like they showed some like so the movie from what I got from the trailer is the road trip.
Okay.
And like the payoff is the end, obviously, of the wedding that they're trying to get to. They didn't show any of that from what I saw in the trailer, what I remember.
What's the appeal of these movies? Do they race?
I mean, it's Lightning McQueen.
Well, if there's racing, maybe I'll watch them. Is there some Ricky Bobby type?
The opening scene
driving?
From the opening scene for this trailer was Lightning McQueen on the same course that he was with Doc when he was learning how to turn right, you gotta turn left.
I do remember that.
So the opening scene was him doing that, going up the bank on the mountain, and he's in like the nice white red wheels, looking sick, and it's like slow motion, and you just see the wheel left drift across. And I was like, I'm in, and I didn't. And then it gets into, what if I come with you, Mater?
Wow.
And then Mater, my sister's getting married
to me, brother.
Don't do Larry the Cable Guy like that.
That's just how Mater talks.
And it's so good.
He's the type of guy.
I'm excited for it just because, again, like, it looks better than the Lightyear trailer for, like, Toy Story.
Okay.
So, like, I'm for it. I'm gonna see it regardless because Cars is sweet.
Cool.
So it's gonna be good. You might know a bit more about this than I do.
I was just about to say I don't know anything about this.
No. Oh, not this one.
Okay.
Not this one. Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump this one just because I didn't get to do my research.
So I don't know anything
We're gonna
about
save
that
it for
one
next week.
I don't know much about this one either on purpose.
Okay.
But there is a new Game of Thrones show coming out, a prequel called House of Dragons, which is based off of the Targaryen history.
Yep.
Like Daenerys Targaryen, who was like obviously a main character in the original Game of Thrones series. The whole way that series starts is that she's kind of the last, her and her brother at the time, are like the last remaining heirs of this like long dynasty of the Targaryen household who's been around since old. I don't want to get into my Game of Thrones nerdism, but old Valyria and such. So they've got a huge history with dragons and the world, and this is obviously, I don't actually know what characters it's based off of because I haven't like delved deep into it. But
I feel like that's good though.
Yeah, because I want to be
watch it fresh.
Yeah.
Without any pre-existing opinions.
It's HBO. It's Game of Thrones. I hope they don't do us dirty like they did with the last season.
Oof.
That's all I really have to say about it.
Yeah. So the next one. So that's just because obviously Game of Thrones, huge following. We're both big Game of Thrones fans.
Yeah.
We both killed.
I was so
series.
into Game of Thrones while it was on. I was like, I knew everything about all the houses and the families, and whatever. And then the show let me down. To be honest,
let you down.
I liked it. I didn't hate it. I'm not a hater, but I lost interest in the show because I wasn't satisfied with the way it ended. Okay. So I genuinely lost interest.
Now, was that the first, like, was it season 8 as a whole, or was it, like, the last 3 episodes?
Like they just lost me. Like the last couple episodes. Okay. I was like, all this stuff that I've been keeping up to date with and invested in, you didn't give me a payoff for it.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't hit. You didn't get me.
But that's what happens when you write the story before the story's written.
Yep.
And then we're excited for Game of Thrones. Obviously, huge cult following. Everyone's in it. It took me less than 2 months to watch 8 seasons of Game of Thrones because I waited until the 8th season was done, and I went years without finding one spoiler. So I was pumped. I was able to blow through it like no tomorrow. And
I just got reminded. I got spoiled something of a show I'm watching. Anyways, continue.
And you'll share that with us later.
No, I won't.
And the next one is Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah.
And again, the trailer didn't give me much because the extended trailer came out just a couple days ago, I do believe. So I only saw like the cut, like it's like a 15-second teaser. All I know is Christopher Nolan, and anything his last movie was fantastic. Usually what he does is pretty good. So everyone's going to see that just because it's him. So we're all excited for that. And then this one, I haven't seen the first one yet because it just came out not long ago. Mm-hmm. The Gray Man was approved and green lit for a sequel.
Cool. I haven't seen it.
Has anyone seen the first one yet?
Well, it's on Netflix, so if you want to, I'm sure you can.
It's been out for like a month?
Like a week. Like 2 weeks.
That's worse.
I know. Like
so
no
how
time.
Can you... People loved it. Well,
who?
Only like 10% of your audience has seen it yet, because I feel like I know that people haven't seen that yet. Like, it's only been out for like 2 weeks, like you said. Like, you mean to tell me that they're for sure.
There's a call. Everybody wants.
Like, this. I don't know. I thought that was weird because I saw the poster today that was like green lit, and I was just like, well, no one's seen the first one.
I mean, I'm sure some folks have. I heard it was pretty good. It was a fun action movie, but that's interesting that it's already getting a second one.
Yeah, and I think from there, why don't you take us away with your Comic-Con?
Man, I was trying to keep up with Comic-Con stuff while it was coming out because they were announcing so many like movies and shows. Every year they're just trying to like recapture Comic-Con of old, like 15, 16 Comic-Con where they're announcing like Infinity Wars and this and that and all this crazy stuff. They're just trying to like recapture that. But so let's see what they announced. New phases were announced with Marvel, She-Hulk and Black Panther 2, which Wakanda Forever, which are coming out this year. Mm-hmm. That is the end of phase 4 of Marvel, which is like the weirdest like Phase Forever.
Wakanda Forever better hit.
Yeah, and I think it will because like another thing that they released is a trailer for Wakanda Forever, and it looks very good. Mm-hmm. They're introducing some new characters. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'll talk about it a bit in a minute here because the only thing I want to say about phases is they also announced the start of Phase 6, which is like they announced that Phase 4 is gonna end this year. And then they're announcing the start of Phase 6. So there's an extra. It's in the multiverse. But Phase 6 is going to start with Fantastic Four and end with Avengers Kang Dynasty and the Avengers Secret Wars.
So how many movies did they just skip over?
Well, they announced some Phase 5 stuff too, but I think they announced all of Phase 5. Like do you remember when they announced but no, like back in the day when they did like the whole timeline, and they're like, we're gonna release Winter Soldier, we're gonna release WandaVision. They did the same thing for this.
Yeah,
phase.
I did see the screen capture
the big timeline
of like Kevin Feige, in front of like the big board with the timeline.
That's Phase 5.
That is Phase 5.
Yeah, that's Phase 5. Okay. And then they said that Phase 6 is gonna start with Fantastic Four, which is like okay, and apparently Tom Holland's supposed to be in it. But anyways, I don't know. But new movies and shows they announced. What If was greenlit for season 2 and 3.
Sweet.
If you have good ideas for it and you're gonna make a good show out of it, keep making it. It was a lot of fun. Don't force it. Is my
don't force
it. If you don't have good ideas, don't make good ideas. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they're not gonna be good.
And that's one of those shows too. Just before you continue, that's one of those shows that you can go like 2 years without putting out a season, and people like really aren't going to be mad because you're going to drop a season and it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
It's not a show that you have to like.
That is a good point.
You have to be a diehard follower. You have to keep up with the Marvel Universe because the whole point is what if something didn't happen in the multiverse or whatever? What if Iron Man didn't, get blown up by a landmine? Where would they be now? So it might have a connection in the future, but it doesn't now. So you can really take your time and do well with that.
Mm-hmm. And they also announced Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Kang is supposed to be the villain in there. I'm about it. I mean,
I'm about Kang.
Yeah, he's supposed to be really cool, and Ant-Man's cool. Paul Rudd's funny guy.
Paul Rudd.
His daughter has been cast. Catherine Newton is playing his daughter. I don't know her name, but I think she's gonna be the new Wasp.
What happened to the old Wasp?
Did she die? I don't know.
I haven't seen Ant-Man. I haven't seen Ant-Man.
I've seen it.
Or the Wasp.
It's even worse. I've seen it. I don't know.
Okay.
But his daughter's in it. She's grown up now. They also announced. Ooh, this one's crazy.
This one makes no sense.
Daredevil.
Why?
Born Again.
Why?
Charlie Cox.
He already was.
He still is. Is the point?
How do you call it Born Again then?
That's a good point. But
figure it out.
Reborn.
Marvel.
So I think that's pretty awesome. And they showed his new trailer in a new. I think it was the She-Hulk trailer. This is me not knowing.
That's fine.
I think it was the She-Hulk trailer. There's like a dude who jumps and does a flip, and it's definitely Daredevil in like his She-Hulk alternate costume, and it looks awesome.
So here's my problem. Here is my
what's your
problem with Marvel, though. I feel like this is going to play into their whole, that's not that universe, that's that universe, and you got to piece it together. Because Marvel has this big thing lately where they can go, he died. Oh, dude, let's just say that was multiverse number 692.
Wait, have you seen Daredevil?
Yeah.
Okay, I have not.
Oh, okay.
So don't spoil it, because I'm making my way through those Marvel Netflix shows right now, ever since Spider-Man No Way Home, when they made him canon.
Yeah.
I started watching them in like the canonical order.
Okay.
So I think the next one I'm watching is Daredevil season 3 or something like that. I'm almost done. But
okay, so I won't spoil anything. But my problem is just that now, if they're gonna, because again, we don't know what reborn means right now.
I don't know.
You're gonna have
not reborn.
You're gonna have Charlie Cox as 3 different Daredevils and 3 different series going at 3 different timelines.
No. You
say no, but I would not put it past Marvel to just be like, dude, that's the other universe.
He's he was like Tom Holland, Spider-Man's lawyer.
Yes.
So who's to say he's not also just Daredevil?
So that's the thing. So are they gonna be like, Spider-Man is that universe, and then
no.
Daredevil's this universe?
Oh, same universe.
But how do you know that? You don't know what this universe. You don't know what
I don't.
Reborn would be.
I don't, but it's in the same universe as She-Hulk.
And what universe is She-Hulk in?
She-Hulk is definitely in the modern universe because the Hulk is in it.
Okay, see, I didn't see the trailer for the She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I gotta watch the trailers to understand what's going on.
You want to understand the Marvel Universe? You better do your goddamn research.
Jesus, somebody give me an encyclopedia.
Take notes. Take notes. Rewatch every night.
Fuck.
Pray to Kevin Feige every night.
That's how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I thought it was Phage.
It may as well should be.
I don't like it.
Blade, starring Mahershala Ali, got a release date. That's a Marvel movie.
Yeah. Got release date?
November 3rd, 2023.
Oh.
Yeah, you got too excited there for a second.
Wow, that was an emotional roller coaster.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But no, I'm hyped for that though. Blade's awesome.
Sweet.
Secret Invasion's going to be coming in the spring. That's going to be cool. They've been hyping up the Skrulls for a while.
That's what I saw. And I saw some concept art, like, before they announced this, like, months ago. I saw, like, concept art from the comic series. That looks cool, because that just looks like they can do whatever the frick they want. Yeah.
Whatever the frick, man.
The frick. I thought that one was a bit too prominent
to
follow through with.
Just a couple more. I'll bang it out quick. Marvel Thunderbolts will conclude Phase 5. Okay, whatever.
I don't know.
I'm sure that'll be cool. Captain America: New World Order. That's going to be starring the new Anthony Mackie as Falcon Captain America. That's coming in 2024.
Cool. I was going to say.
I think Anthony Mackie is great for the role.
Agreed.
If you got a problem with it, you haven't been watching the movies, because Falcon's really cool. So why not give him a chance? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Falcon Winter Soldier, I genuinely liked it.
Is he coming back as a 94-year-old?
No. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer drop.
Cool.
Looks good.
Same
I'm
cast?
sure. Yeah.
I mean, other than what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the deaths. And then there's that new trailer for Black Panther where they confirmed Namor, who's like the equivalent of like Aquaman. So it's kind of given off like Avatar 2 vibes, where it's like water.
Yeah.
Some underwater stuff going on. And they also announced a couple Marvel shows. Echo, which is the girl who was in Hawkeye, the deaf one.
Okay.
She's really cool.
Yeah, and got super excited for a second.
Yeah, you got really excited. Loki season 2.
I love Loki.
Ironheart, which is they're going to be introducing her character in Black Panther. Okay.
Who's Ironheart?
I don't know.
I hope it's not what I'm thinking.
What?
I don't know. Like, are they going to do something crazy where they're just going to rebirth an Iron Man
or
an Iron Woman, I guess, now, and it's like Tony Stark?
No, it's like a girl.
I don't have no faith in Marvel, so...
No, that's fair, though. Yeah. And then the last one is Agatha Harkness.
Very cool.
I guess. I like that actress, but I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
Was cool.
Yeah, but what are they going to do with her?
The dark magic. I don't know why that was English, but...
The dark.
But, she had a big role at the end of WandaVision.
Yeah, that's it, though. I just don't know what they're going to do with her.
I wonder... And also, again, if you haven't seen WandaVision, everything retracts at the end of WandaVision. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have the same power, I thought. But what do I know?
Who knows? But,
I know nothing about Marvel. So.
Now we go to a better comic book brand, DC.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right.
Not the movies. I'm not an idiot. Their movies are not as good, but I like DC better. I like their heroes better.
They're more serious.
No, I disagree.
You disagree?
The movies, yeah, but I think that the reason why I like the Justice League way more than the Avengers is because everybody says, oh, the Avengers, like, they're, like, realistic, like Captain America, like, he's just a guy with a shield, and Iron Man's, like, a real guy with a suit. I'm like, yeah, but why? Why do you want your superheroes to be real? Don't you want them to be sick and cool? And, like,
I mean, Batman's real.
Batman? Yeah, he's like, the only
rich man with,
but, like,
with muscle.
Superman? Come on, that's sick.
Krypton.
And, like, Wonder Woman, these guys are, like, superhumans, but, like, actual superhumans.
That's true. I mean, Captain America, I guess, is a artificial
Superman. But have Captain America fight Superman, because
he gets his ass kicked.
That's the whole thing. It's like, it's a serum created by men who, like, boost him up. Superman's just, like, a straight-up alien that will murder everyone on the planet.
True.
But, anyways, they announced a Black Adam trailer.
Cool. Dwayne The Rock.
With The Rock. Love The Rock. How could you not? He's going to be the next president. They're trying to do the anti-hero thing with him.
Okay.
Where they're like, you could be the savior of the world, or you could be the one who destroys it. And as somebody who knows the character, he's a villain.
Like the original Black Adam's a villain?
Not the original.
But like the comic book.
Not even, he just is a villain. Like Black Adam has always been a villain.
Okay.
I'm sure some comic nerd
in the other multiverse
is gonna hey, I'm sure in some like world or storyline he helps them out, whatever. But he's always like a villain. So I think that's gonna be cool. And he's actually a good villain for Superman because he uses magic and Superman's like vulnerable to magic, whatever. But the other one they released, which is kind of a counterpart to Black Adam, Shazam. Okay, we're good. Fury of the Gods. They released a new trailer for that. Was it Zachary Levi?
Yeah.
He's cool.
Have you seen the Shazam?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have not.
Oh, it's good.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's the series, right?
No, it's a movie.
For some reason, I thought he had a series too.
He has a show.
Or a show, yeah.
Chuck.
What?
The show Chuck?
Yeah, what about Chuck?
That's the guy.
Oh, okay. See, so why did I think Shazam was like an Amazon Prime series?
I don't know, because you're uninformed.
Maybe.
On DC, but no, Shazam's a movie, and it was actually good. I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'll add it to the list.
It's fun, but yeah. So the trailer for that looks good. That's all the DC stuff. Other announcements: new Hunger Games movie.
I don't believe there's a fourth book.
I don't know. I stopped caring about Hunger Games after the second one.
You read the books?
Yeah.
Every teen read the book.
Yeah, I liked them.
Yeah.
I really liked the first two.
There was only 3
No,
books
I think
in
this is
that
a prequel. I think it's a prequel.
Oh, of course. Because everything needs a damn prequel.
Yeah, and they added Peter Dinklage to the cast.
That's cool.
That's cool. How can you not like that? And then one of the big things that was getting actually a lot of buzz at Comic-Con was the Dungeons and Dragons movie starring Chris Pine called Honor Among Thieves. They released a trailer for it, and people were hype about it.
Really? I didn't see the trailer. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah. It's like getting a lot of buzz because they've tried to do these movies before, Dungeons and Dragons movies, and they've fallen flat.
Which is surprising because that fan base, I had the pleasure of being at a Comic-Con a couple of years ago, and Dungeons and Dragons was probably the biggest, they had the biggest area by far.
Yeah.
And you got to think about there's Star Wars and there's all these Comic-Con acts and characters there, and Dungeons and Dragons just takes over a huge spot in that Comic-Con building, and the fans are diehard. They play the game hours and days on end. They get super dressed up. They're super into it, and that's a hard thing to understand. If you're watching, if you've followed Dungeons and Dragons for years, right? There's a lot of layers to that. So I'm surprised they fall short because you'd think that fan base would just help keep that lifted.
I don't know, but this movie's looking really good. I'm excited to see it. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Do you need to know?
I don't think
Dungeons and Dragons previously, because that's where I would probably.
But it's funny because there's nothing there's no nothing to know. You know what I mean?
I guess you can kind of pick up on characters as it goes.
Unless there's no characters in Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. I don't know the game.
Exactly. There's no it's everything. Every time you play is just different.
That's the thing, because isn't it you build as you go and stuff like that? You get no one killed me over this.
I've played before.
But it's you get a sword that's enchanted, and then you get armor, and then you're building your character right as it goes.
You write your own character beforehand.
Okay.
And then you build I'll do the super brief. You have your race, you have your class, which is if you want to be a fighter, you want to be a sneaky guy, a wizard guy, whatever. And then you basically do whatever you want with your character, and then there's the guy running the game. And the guy running the game can basically do whatever they want.
Nice.
And they have the idea what they want to go, and then it's a tabletop game, so you do whatever you want.
Yeah, I know it's a tabletop game, and I know I knew you build, but I didn't know it was to that extent.
Well, the point of that is that as long as you understand what a fantasy game is and what a fantasy movie is, I think it's might do really well for the game, because if you're kind of into dragons and knights and whatever, you watch this movie and you're like, whoa, this is cool. Maybe I want to play Dungeons and Dragons, and then it makes the game more popular, which I guess is the goal of this, because you get a ton of money by selling books and minis and dice and
all that stuff.
All the
extras.
I'm guessing that's the goal.
Sweet.
And the last thing I'll say from Comic-Con, and I am a Walking Dead fan. You are kind of a Walking Dead fan. You've seen it.
I'm at season 6, episode 5.
That is a show that sometimes you watch it and you want to finish the episode and jump off a bridge.
Correct.
And sometimes you watch it and you're like, that was pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But I've seen it a lot. Big fan. I've read the comics. And they're doing a show called Tales from the Walking Dead. And it's 6 stories from the Walking Dead universe. And it looks like it might be kind of cool. Like, I don't really know what it's about. Original? Not related, but one of the characters who you don't know yet, who's in one of the later seasons, is a main character in the later seasons. She's in this show doing the narration in the trailer and might have one of the stories, but it's 6 stories, like I said, from the perspective of different people in the apocalypse. Cool. So there's like one of them in the trailer was like a doctor who was like trying to research the zombies, and like one was like Terry Crews is in it, and he's like,
he doesn't love Terry.
People said something like this wouldn't happen. I don't know what voice I'm doing right now. People like said that something like this wouldn't happen, but I was ready, I was prepared, and I'm still around. So it's like perspective of different people in the apocalypse. It looks pretty good. Coming August 14th, so that's soon.
Yeah.
I don't think that they said any other year, so I'm hoping it's this year. But yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, like, as somebody who's just getting through The Walking Dead, my best friend growing up, him, his brother, and their stepfather, huge Walking Dead fans, like, religiously. Like, it was on, I think, like, on a weird night.
Sunday.
Yeah, it was Sunday?
Yeah.
It was on, like, Sunday at, like, 8 o'clock or something like that.
8 or 9.
And I remember, like, I used to hang out with him all the time. Like, I lived there practically. And it just, zombies wasn't my thing growing up. Like, I just didn't find the fascination. And they'd be like, no, like, we can't do anything Sunday night, because Sunday night,
that was my family was the same
Sunday
way.
night is The Walking Dead. But I was like that for, like, Breaking Bad, like, when it was on TV.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's funny that they were like that, and then I started picking up after, and now I'm at season 6, episode 5. My girlfriend's a huge fan. She's actually the one that got me in. And I must say, you're correct. Some episodes finish, and I never want to watch again, which is what happened in this season 6. I took a month break.
That's good, though. That's good, man.
Because the binge for that, you can't binge that show.
It's a slog.
Yeah, you can't binge that show because you're doing more damage to yourself.
It's
a lot of effort. It's a lot of, like, it's not even like so much paying attention to the storyline.
You know what?
It's just,
they ask a lot out of their viewers.
Yes.
It's like, you expect me to sit through this goddamn scene where they're like crying about like something that happened like 3 episodes ago, and they're just talking about what they're gonna do. It's like, can you please just do it?
Because they'll do that for like 2 episodes.
2 episodes.
And then the payoff will come that 3rd episode, and then somebody does something so outlandishly dumb.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
you're
kind of stuck there, like,
you just undid all the effort.
I just spent 3 hours invested into this specific plot line, and it went nowhere. So I'm glad for that. Obviously, I don't think I'll be able to watch it until I finish The Walking Dead, just in case there's some nonsense going on in there that might spoil it. But, I mean, lots of entertainment, lots of sports. That covers it for entertainment, I do believe, unless you got something else to add. August is a big month coming up, so there's going to be tons going on. I think we're still due for a couple more announcements, I'd imagine, probably coming into September. That's usually a pretty popular movie time, right?
Yeah, well, there's going to be good stuff.
And then you get into your announcements for December. So that'll be crazy for entertainment moving forward. Something I didn't touch on in sports. I just want to backtrack real quick. R.I.P. Bill Russell.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't write that in the sports, and it just kind of clicked into my brain.
Legend.
That's a legend. Obviously, didn't watch him growing up, but everyone's seen his highlight packs. Pioneer the game, so that's very cool. What do you think, Connor?
Let me get one headline in here.
Let's finish off on a high note.
So, yeah, let's finish off on a high note. Let's do a headline. So I gathered a couple headlines.
Yeah.
I'll talk about my top one there, and I'll save the rest. But there was a job posting that went pretty viral recently. It was a job for a candy tester at, I think it was called like the Maitland or something, like candy factory. And it was $100,000 salary to be a candy tester. You can work from home, but there are a few requirements, okay?
Before you get excited.
So if you want to be $100,000 per year candy tester from home, you have to attend candy board meetings on a regular basis, okay?
That sounds strenuous.
And if you want to do this, there are some requirements. No allergies allowed. You cannot have food allergies.
No, I can see that, yeah.
You have to be fluent in English.
Okay.
And there's no experience needed. Joke's on them. I've been eating candy my whole life. I was eating candy before this, and I will continue eating candy after this. And I think that this would be the only time in my life I don't have to lie on my resume when I apply to this place.
So I won't get a phone number pretending to be a supervisor?
Nope, because they're going to call me and they're going to say, hi, is this Connor Ray? Are you interested in applying for a job as a candy tester? Look. I haven't eaten candy my whole life. I will do you the graces of tasting your candy for $100,000.
Now, I have like some thoughts because like candy tester, it's a direct term, but it's also a very broad term because there's lots of different candies. I don't know if you've ever had like the jelly beans from like Harry Potter. I don't know if you ever had those.
The magic ones?
But yeah, but then when you do get one that's like really bad, it's like
it's
bad.
Disgusting.
It's gross. So it's like, and there was also like a brand of soda that was in the States once when I was in my late teens, and we went to the States, and it was like just the weirdest sodas that you can imagine, like weirdest flavors, and they were just bad. So it'd be cool, $100,000. But what if you got like dog food candy?
I would eat that for $100,000, first of all. But my question is, what I'd eat dog poo candy for $100,000.
I'd eat dog food for $100,000.
Yeah, I'd eat a dog. Never mind. My only question is, you work from home. Are they shipping you like jelly beans in the mail?
They must be. Like,
that's gross.
What if you get like, here's your package for a month, but like
I need it all right away.
What if they're like, we need a review? You got to write a paper.
Yeah, and you got to go to the meetings.
You got to attend. All right, the sour candy, too sour. You're right. Lemon sour, good.
Oh
Lemon lime, even better.
Even
Cherry,
better.
Taste like medicine. Like, what if you have to sit there and actually write like full reports?
That sounds like a good job.
I mean, that's pretty stress-free though. Because what's somebody going to say? You're wrong? It's an opinion. It's your taste. There's no like...
Please.
Connor?
Sir, I ate fuzzy peaches for breakfast the last 6 years. And Twizzlers for dinner.
Yeah, your dentist is going to be pissed.
That is true.
Yeah, your dentist is going to be mad.
You better have good dental coverage.
They better... Do they offer dental coverage?
They better.
Because if they don't, that's a catch.
Yeah.
Here, we're going to give you $100,000, but 60 of that goes to your dental care because you're going to need full dentures by the end of this thing.
Okay, let me talk about one more thing.
Go ahead.
Just because I wrote 3 down here, but I want to talk about one more just because I thought it was interesting.
Let's do it.
I was listening to this guy, the author of a book called Downton Shabby, and I thought it was really interesting. I read an article about it after. This guy, living in the United States in California, he's a comedian, producer, like director, whatever, writer type dude in California. And he finds out that his family back in England for hundreds of years lived on this big castle, this big estate in the UK. But obviously, as time went on, they couldn't afford it, had to get put away. It ended up being like shelter and ended up being like a monastery or whatever, just got passed around hands. But somehow, I forget exactly, I wish I wrote this down, but somehow he found out that the place was up for sale.
Okay.
And he went back to his grandfather, and his grandpa told him, this is the estate that our family lived in for centuries. So he went to the UK to check this place out, totally run down and dilapidated, like no chance of like basically like saving it. Looks like terrible. Buys the place, gets grants from the government to set it up.
Because it's historical.
Yeah. They get paid to apply to grant to fix this place up. People in the town nearby want to fix it up because they've lived near it soon. But so he basically, the whole story is that this guy is writing a book. He has written a book based off the project called Downton Shabby because obviously, whatever. But a funny thing about it is that some of the locals wouldn't help to clean the house up after like 5 p.m. when the sun went down because they all say the place is haunted. Yeah.
Are they wrong?
I would assume a place like that is haunted.
Hundreds of years, many centuries, and war times and all that stuff. Like, who knows what was going on in that place?
They say they got a picture of a ghost, and the locals won't work there at night. They say very creepy. But I just thought that was a really funny story. Like,
That's cool though.
He said back when he was a kid, his grandpa would tell him stories about the old family castle in England, and we used to be lords and like ladies back in the day, whatever. And he just thought it was all stories, but turns out it's not. And now this guy's got a whole estate. He moved to the UK, sold his house in California,
and now
his new life.
And then he wonders, how did I end up here? If my great grandfather was the king or something like that.
Lord.
And a lord, a lady and lord. Like,
where's my cheddar?
I'm working at Best Buy.
Where's
no offense to people working at Best Buy. I just picked that, but like.
Yes, offense people working at Best Buy. What happened to Future Shop? You tell me what happened to Future Shop.
Radio Shack.
Where's Radio Shack?
But it's like, that's pretty cool though, because that doesn't happen every day, and it's weird actually. You'd be surprised on the history that's found in lesser towns, small towns, and you date it back a couple centuries ago or even a century ago, and it's pretty crazy, like the stuff that came through it. Like I know in my town, because it's connected to, like in Windsor, I know it's connected to Detroit, and during the Prohibition, it was a huge hotspot because in Canada, you could still drink.
Yeah.
So that was a huge smuggling port, and some of the things they find, like every now and then they'll renovate a house and you find some old barrels and bottles and cars and cash or a whole bunch of random stuff, and it's cool that you can kind of dig that stuff up.
It's cool because it wasn't even that long ago.
No, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, happened yesterday.
It's crazy because we're so young and vibrant and, just full of life. And you think about all this crap that happened 100 years ago when people didn't know what was going on. It's crazy.
People were like in their 20s, but actually like 40.
And like dying.
Yeah.
It's like, I turned 25 this weekend.
Yeah, it was like
close to death.
Dramatic thing.
I've written my will.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool. I like that's a good story to end on because that doesn't happen every day, and maybe that's a book worth checking out.
You want to read that? Yeah, sure.
I might, yeah. That's pretty interesting. I'm not a big fictional book.
Really?
I mean, like, I made it like halfway through the first Game of Thrones.
That's a long book, though.
That's like
choosing.
I'm gonna switch to ebook. I think
that's being like, oh, I want to go for a jog. No, let's run a marathon. Like, exactly. Oh my god, okay.
Yeah. Well, I made it halfway through. It was like 400 pages.
Yeah. It's literally a 1,000-page book.
Yeah. So I think I think that's a good one to switch to ebook. But
yeah.
But anyway.
Yep. I think that's all we got. Lots going on, and there's gonna be so much going on in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, tons of NFL, F1's mid-season break, so we got a couple weeks off from that, and then we're right back at it there. Like we said, entertainment's gonna be spilling crazy because we're gonna get to a crazy time of year. A bunch of movies that we said were upcoming will come very quickly.
And I'm watching a lot of them. I'm gonna try to get on this. I'm gonna try to watch Gray Man. I'm gonna try to watch Gray Man within the next couple days.
Yep.
I recently watched Spiderhead. I didn't even want to talk about it.
I was gonna say you didn't put that in watch.
No, I didn't want to talk about it. But
3-word review.
I was confused.
All right.
That's a bad review.
But that's for you.
Because I wasn't confused, but tonally very confused.
Totally very confused.
No, tonally.
Tonally.
The tone of the film was very weird, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
But
anyways. Which is odd because just from the trailer that I saw, 2 very good main characters.
Miles Teller, they did a good job acting wise, but it just
didn't hit.
It was like this scene is super serious. Someone's like dying and like going crazy and like blood everywhere, and then the next scene it's like a little joke about somebody's haircut. It's like, what is going on here? Anyways,
the pace of the movie.
I'm gonna watch more movies. We're gonna watch more sports.
That's right.
Keep you up to date with everything.
That's right.
Lots going on.
I think that's it.
And that's all we got.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow our Instagram account, Cornermen.
Like, subscribe.
Do that.
Friend us on Facebook. Message me.
That's right. I'm lonely.
Let me know your favorite. Whoa.
Yeah, check us out on all our socials and everything like that.
Tell me where's Oscar Piastri going?
That's right.
Tell us.
That's right, because he's going to McLaren and Ricardo's out of here. That's my take, because Ricardo has no reason to stay and they have no reason to keep him.
Ricardo to NASCAR.
Wow.
That's all we got.
But yeah, see you guys later for episode 5 will be later in the week.
Absolutely.
All right. Cheers.
Later.